Hi, welcome to a quick lesson on how to add a Windows 7 machine to our new Server 2008 domain. If you remember, we've already made a server called Virtual, so we just want to add a client to it now. Previous lessons we've created users, and this is how we'll test them. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that we've got the right IP address. So we need to go to our internet settings and change the adapter settings to make sure that we can connect to the domain. Our server is called 192.168.0.1, so we'll make this machine 192.168.0.2. So we'll put the settings in. And for this exercise, we'll be using our server as a DNS server. So 192.168.0.2, and we need 192.168.0.1, which is the address of the server to act as our domain name server. So click OK. OK to that, and those settings will be saved. Once we've done that, we're now in a position where we can check to make sure that everything's correct. So if I open a command prompt and ping the server, which is 01, you'll see that we get a reply. So we know that that's working. So we can now go ahead and add this machine to the domain. So to do that, right click the computer and go to Properties. And you'll see that we are in a work group at the moment. We want to be in a domain. So we need to change the settings. And to rename this computer or change its domain or workgroup, click Change. So I'll click Change. And now I need to add in our virtual domain. So our server and our domain is called Virtual. So I'll enter that. Once I click this, I need to use the password from the server and the administrator to authenticate this machine against the domain. So I'm using the server's details. Authenticate. And so what's happened now is my Windows 7 machine has spoken to the 2008 server, asked for permission to authenticate. It's verified that it was the correct username and account, so we've now been added to the domain. Once you've added to the domain, you'll need to restart before those settings are applied. So I'll go ahead and restart the machine and pause it for a moment. Okay, the machine is rebooted, so I can now go ahead and log on. But this time, I don't want to log on as the local machine. This was the local machine logging on to itself. I want to log on to a domain. So I'll click Switch User. I'll pick Other User. This time, I need to put in the name of the domain with a black backslash and then a user account. I've made an account called Neil, and I've given it a password. And this lives on the actual server itself. So if I can log on here, it means I've authenticated properly. And then once authenticated, group policy, DHCP and Z drives and home drives and public drives will all work as they should do. We click OK. And as you can see, it's welcomed me and I'm logging on. So I've now successfully added my machine to the server domain, entered a username and password and logged on. The only trick to remember is it needs to be virtual and backslash when we log on. And that completes this exercise. Thank you very much.